going a long wait. Then we had to jump into just a very quick game just to finish off that series of KeeN reality. But we're here now, we're ready to go. And we're going to jump on into this. The Classic vs Solo and Classic vs Gumiho played last night. No, they were played today. They were played while the other matches were played out. So they just, all the matches in the Leifeng Cup just play at the same time. They don't wait for casters or anything, or the stream. Because it's a double E-lane bracket and there's lots to play, it all just plays at the same time. So obviously we can only cover so much. So it just all kind of starts when the event starts and just runs on through. Just sort of like a, say, any sort of online cup. Like open bracket, say, like, for example, Base Trades TV's Corsair Cup. You know, all the matches just start to play, and they all just play out as time goes by. And sometimes you maybe hold both the semi-finals or so. But in general, the casters just join in where they can and look to see what's happening. Guys, it's Dasan Station for map number 1. It's not the most common of maps here. It's a very interesting map, actually. And it's a very different map. So let's see what's going to happen as we jump on into this. To the top left-hand side, our red Zerg player from Samsung Galaxy. Let's hear it if you're cheering on Solar. And down to the bottom right, our blue Terran player will be KeeN. So, as we set on up into this, guys, we'll be having a look to see how things are going over the next few moments. And especially here on Dasan, it's a very different map, a map you don't see all too often. So it'll be interesting to see how both players play on this. It's interesting that this actually came through the veto pool, because actually Dasan Station's a map where a lot of the time the Zerg will just veto it very early because they feel it's very hard to deal with Terran attacks on this map. So it is an interesting one as we kick off and wait to see what exactly the build orders will be. For now, KeeN opens with the Gas First Reaper expansion. So Reaper will be on the way out, and then we'll be seeing his follow-up as well. He'll also expand, looking to be on the low ground. He clicks down there for an SCV. Pulls his first SCV actually across the map, though, so just waiting for a moment or two. Maybe he isn't going to go down to the low ground. He isn't. He's going to go on the high ground. So a little bit of indecision there from KeeN. Not completely sure as to which base he wanted to take. But he is going to take the one in the back of his main. So Command Center coming down the back of the main. This SCV from KeeN going to come on through. Have a little bit of a look around to see what's going on, what's happening. So SCV having a look around. Hatch Gas Pool is the build order here out of Solar. I'm just going to be seeing this SCV from KeeN will then back away now, as the Reaper will come in and just replace it. So the first SCV scout, just to give you a bit of information, it also means the Reaper doesn't have to dive into scout, which means he can play a little bit more safely with it, a little bit more conservatively, and focus on picking off, say, lings or drones, rather than having to dive in to try and get information as to, you know, is there a Rotron already down, and things like that. So you can see he is just into the south side where he has an easy exit available to him if required, as we're going to be seeing the lings just continue to just trade here and there with that Reaper. So Reaper just moving around a little bit. I'm just going to be seeing an SCV coming over and just going to start or continue to mine away. You see a Rax and Starport added on as well. A couple of Hellions coming out of the factory. And we do just see KeeN just setting up, moving around with this Reaper and looking to see what's up and what is going on. Lair's on the way very early from Solo, so he's going to play 2 base here. He's going to play 2 base, most likely Mutalisk, I imagine. And actually it's a pretty nice way to maybe, because the meters hit so fast because of the close by air distance, I guess it's also a pretty nice way to sort of just harass from the early stages of the game and continue harassing as the game continues, and just slow the Terran player from starting to really push across the map into slowed positions, which can be difficult to deal with. This central area of the map is so difficult to attack on as a Terran player, as a Zerg player, sorry. It's very easy to attack on as a Terran because there's no flanks available. You're not going to get surrounded. You've got choke points on your side as well. You really do have to time your life on this as the Hellions come forward. They do get a good connection on the Zerglings here, and so the Lings do just have to fall back up in towards the main base. So Lings do fall back up there, and the Hellions coming in again. A couple of them getting roasted almost immediately here. Queen's doing a bit more damage, and Drone's pulling away from that mineral line almost straight away as well. Still Zerglings looking around to see what else is going on. A grenade going into. The Hellions just continuing to pull back here and doing some more continued damage. Just a few more Zerglings gonna have to be cleaned up, but man, it's actually been a good start. I mean, 2 drones and a good amount of Lings forced out and killed off as well. Good trade with these initial Hellions. Now the Cloak Banshee was the follow-up here out of KeeN, and we're going to be seeing, well, I'm just going to stay at home. Does he actually cancel the Cloak? He does. So we're just going to go for the Banshee alone. I mean, the Banshee a great way to continue harassing as time passes by. And you don't necessarily need the Cloak to get a lot of damage done. So as the Banshee comes across the map, we'll just be seeing it, looking around, seeing what direction it can come in from, and maybe as well, just because of the fact KeeN came in and did spot the fast lair, assumed a Spire, Maybe that's a reason to get rid of the extra cloak on the Banshees, because he knows it's not going to be super effective. He's not going to catch his opponent without Overseers, for example. He's not going to be able to keep the Banshees up in the later stages of the game either. And so he, instead of just investing further into that, just decides instead just to go for the one cloakless Banshee and just to play from there. Himself is set up onto 2 bases, and he's just going to stick on 2 bases. 3 extra racks coming down with reactors building on them. I mean, again, we talked about that ability to attack on this map is very easy. It comes naturally as a Terran player because it's just so easy to defend or stop the Zerg setting up good engagements. And so if that is the case, then what happens here is that we get into a location where our Terran player is able to push and just keep on pushing us, so the 2 base attacks become very powerful from a very early stage. I actually see Magfield Accelerator is going to be starting up here out of KeeN, so KeeN just going to be starting up with this, and a few Mutalisks on the way out. It's interesting that he chooses the Magfield Accelerator, maybe a way to help him deal with the Mutalisks to some extent. I mean, just the Cyclone production in general at this point is interesting. I wonder if it does just help him push away and confirm kills on Mutas to help him with this attack coming in, rather than, say, producing siege tanks, which aren't necessarily the best against Mutalisk-based compositions because they're very easily caught out of position, caught off guard, because they're slow moving. They have to keep on sieging up and unsieging, you know? Be interesting to see what happens. We're going to see this Banshee continue to come back home. I'm just going to be seeing a few mutas gathering together here from Solar, and they're going to start moving in towards the main base, or thinking about moving in towards the main base at least. Some mutas just continue to look around, see what's up, see the Cyclones are going to... I'll have one of them locking on at least. The other Cyclone going to continue working away as well. The Overlord does go down. And as the Overlord falls, we'll see the Mutalisks once more just join themselves together, getting set up and ready to go. And just still looking for openings here. So looking for ways to do damage, but, well, KeeN is starting to come across the map. Combat Shields has started, +1 attack is not far away. And you see another Medivac starting to come on up as Rita's just going to be looking to pick away at reinforcements, really. Again, it's why you'd expect maybe the Cyclones to be such a kind of popularity here from KeeN, as we see nice lock-ons, and you can see just confirms kills on the Mutalisks. Doesn't lose a Cyclone yet either, as now the Mutas are going to be caught in an odd position. Probably best maybe go into the main to continue harassing, but at the same time, he needs as much as he can get back over here. I don't think Solar has enough. He's only got Lings. They're going to disappear against this. The Mutas come in as well. Drone's also being pulled. Is he really going to clean this up with Ling Muta? No way. Wow. Solar. I didn't know that was even possible. Like, how do you fight against this with Ling Muta? It's crazy. He doesn't even have an upgrade advantage. Just KeeN with the upgrade advantage. More Marines will continue to do damage. I think the thing is, Solar didn't trade well, and so continued attacks should continue to put KeeN into an alright sort of position here. Solar doesn't have that much mind on his gold base yet either, so it's not as though he's in a huge position or huge advantage in terms of economy. KeeN just makes sure he lifts that depot, keeps this wall solid at the front to stop, or at the back, to stop any sort of Lings from running by and just catching him off guard, because that would be one way Solar can start to try and get himself back in the game. You can see now already Zergling's moving down this south side, trying to get in a location. Gold base taking a lot of damage. We're going to see Lings coming in again. Drones will once again pull in, and you can see this time they're just kind of the after effects of the last engagement, which wasn't really, you know, if he cleaned it up, he pushed it back, but it wasn't ideal, pulling drones and Lings and Mutas into Marines, and that just means he doesn't have enough to hold on this time around either. KeeN takes the victory. The top right hand side down a game is going to be our Teal Zerg player. Let's hear it if you're cheering on Solar. And he's going to be playing against the purple Terran player to the top left-hand side. Let's hear it if you're cheering on KeeN. Okay, so we're just going to be looking to set up into this and see how exactly things are going to be going. See what's going to be going on over the next few moments. So it's going to be seeing a few extra drones on the way up from Solar here, and just continue to get this set up in the early stages. Him looking to fight back from the 1-0 deficit. Of course, if he loses this, he'll have to drop down to that loser bracket final, where he has the chance of playing against either, right now, Dark, Classic, or... Was it Reality that I said that Classic's playing against? Yes, Dark, Classic, or Reality. So that would be one of the players he would have to play against in the loser bracket final if he does lose out in this series right now. For us, our second map, it'll be interesting to see exactly what KeeN wants to do on this one. Obviously, Dasan is a very weird map to then try and figure out what exactly the plan is for the rest of the series from certain players, because at the same, you know, because it's just an odd one, right? Like, it's just one of those setups where on Dasan you just build up very differently. The map just plays out so differently in general. So the build here from KeeN is probably going to be different. He might even go for that 2-1-1 based opening. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. So just setting this up, guys. You can see that spawning pool coming down in the main base, and just going to be seeing the command center coming down on the natural expansion as well. So KeeN setting this up still. You're going to be seeing the CC just continue to roll on in right now. We're going to see this Overlord kind of coming in through the top side. And the Reaper from KeeN just sat out the front. Just sat waiting to see what's going to be going on here next. A few more Zerglings on the way up. A couple of Queens currently building as well. And you see that factory just starting up in the main base. A Marine popping out and Reactor will start out as well. Looks as though it's going to be the Hellion-based opening once again. We've seen a lot of Terrans doing this today. In fact, in the 2 TVZs we've seen, we're yet to actually see a 2-1-1 opening, the stim drop-based attack in the very early stages. So you're going to see this command center just going to be building up once again, and just going to be seeing a well, Overlord just sat overhead as well. So just waiting here in the early stages, trying to see what's going on. So, going to see a few things just sat out the front from Solo. Going to see a drone moving out to take the third base. Still a very slow-paced game right now. Nothing really too exciting happening. Second barracks comes down. So KeeN going to commit to kind of not going to go super fast first CC. Stimpack starts as well. His initial Hellions then, with Stimpack started, he doesn't really have much to kind of build on the starport, right? So I guess maybe just a medevac here early, just like a Hellion-based drop. Maybe just a Viking to kind of deflect Overlords. Also some, a little bit of a possibility. So lots of different chances here, lots of different possibilities, and we'll see these couple of Marines just continue to move forwards and hunting down that Overlord, starting to work his way through it. So Overlord continuing to take some damage, and just going to be seeing another Hellion or two popping out as well from KeeN, and just getting ready to kind of come across the map and look to see what's going to be going on. So Overlord's just going to split up a little bit from Solar. And we're just going to be seeing the medevac popping out in just a few more moments from KeeN. So medevac about to pop, and just getting set up into this. There's those Hellions from KeeN going to start going across the map then. So they're going to look to see what they can get up to. And they're going to be setting up here as well to the top side. Rotorin is about halfway done from Solar as well. And there's that medevac from KeeN coming again across the top and going to get lifted up and, well, going to be lifting up and continue to move over here. So Hellions should be lifting up momentarily. But Queen's already in location. Sworecrawler pretty well positioned too. He's very aware, I think, of what the possibility of this is. Actually, maybe more so positioned to deal for the Liberator. But actually, it sort of naturally defends against the Hellion drop as well. So, Queen's in location. I mean, there's 4 Queens in this main. There's the other ones too. You can see KeeN's not even really going to bother trying to jump on in there. So, KeeN just going to be backing away towards the center of the map. Hellions are going to be unloading. And we do just see a lair on the way up. An Evolution Chamber is just about halfway done as well. And a couple more barracks are just coming up to being about halfway done. I mean, KeeN, important to note that he hasn't gone into the 3rd CC. So what he did on Dasan Station is what he's sort of heading into once again right now. The 5 racks, 2 bases, no 3rd command center, aggressive playstyle to set him up into the rest of the game. Now, Solar, he's not really getting too much himself in terms of tech yet, but it's about to start kicking off. There's the +1 carapace starting, and as the lair finishes, he obviously opens himself up to the possibility of going into roach speed and more. So that's going to be something we'll see from Solar in the near future. There's the roach speed starting. And again, these Hellions from Solar, from KeeN, sorry, going to come in, just looking for ways to get some damage done. You know, as long as he doesn't lose the medevac, then this is free damage, whatever he manages to do here. So may as well just try and get it done. Hellions going to unload. They see those Zerglings. Going to start trying to chase those down. As +1 on combat shields finishes, that's the sort of point in the game where KeeN says, alright, time to start attacking, time to start being aggressive, although a little bit of a link drop up to the top side may get some damage done. Hellions are not immediately in location to defend this, although maybe he realizes this. Looks as though he's going to see it now as soon as the Lings run in, so he's a pretty quick response still. The nice thing is he will actually clean up a lot of the Lings. In fact, all of them will go down, so 3 SCV is lost, but cleaned up quickly, cleaned up easily. And KeeN pushes out in towards the center. Hellions mixed in here, no armory though, so not going to be able to morph those into Hellbats, which might actually have been a worthwhile investment considering sort of what he's heading in towards. Another tank coming up as well, and the tank's definitely important too, because if this is kind of Roach Ravager heavy, which it is, then there's definitely going to be potential for tanks to do a lot of damage here throughout. So let's see a few Marines just pulling back here, a couple of Hellions as well. Siege tank in location also. And KeeN is just going to be moving onto the map once more as he looks to set up and see what's going to be happening. So KeeN setting up once again. I'm just going to be seeing another tank going to get loaded up here in a moment or two as well. There's another tank getting loaded up, and well, let's see what happens. We're going to see actually Solar's the one who's sort of pushing forwards. In a way, it's a very aggressive build out of Solar as well. You look at it and he doesn't have many upgrades. It's not double evo, it's only one evolution chamber. There's a lot of stuff which points towards Solar just being aggressive himself, and it means that he's actually very well prepared to fight against an aggressive push of the Terran. However, turn the fight here, the Roaches will start to take some more damage. He moves out of corrosive bow range, and he is just going to continue picking away here. The tank's doing good damage from the back, and as another tank comes in, it still is just a Roach-based army from Solar. However, Burrow and Tunneling Claws on the way up, and those two upgrades might just change things around completely here. Solar going to continue up to the top side, and well, here we go. Marines moving over to the right. The tanks are going to unload, and we're going to be seeing these Marines going to start fighting in once again. So, well, let's see how this is going to go. The tank's actually starting to pick up. He's starting to back away. SCV's going down as a lane drop comes in across the map. Nice little play by Solar to distract KeeN momentarily, and KeeN has to stop to defend that. And the thing is, the more KeeN gets slowed down, the worse this is for himself, because it just gives Solar more time to finish morphing in Ravagers, to get some more Roaches out for this defense. And I think you can see right now that KeeN, he's committing to this fight at this point. He isn't lifting his tanks as quickly, so I think he's going to start realizing that he just doesn't have enough. And Solar still playing very safe, pulling back as soon as he gets off creep, isn't going to go too far forwards. The next thing from him will be to burrow some Roaches and to move them across the map to harass. Oh, Scando's going to find them, and Solar's a little bit all over the place with his burrows. Does manage to get that sorted out just about here in the end. Another Ravager starts to move in, and these tanks are going to continue to fire away, targeting down a Queen there actually. That must have been target firing, because I don't know why he would target the Queen rather than anything else. GG though, KeeN is not going to be able to make this happen, and Solar will take game number 2, tying things. And let's see what's going to happen. To the bottom left hand side from Samsung Galaxy, here on Galactic Process for map number 3. It's going to be our Red Zerg player. Let's hear it if you're going to be cheering on Solar. And to the upper right hand side, our Blue Terran player is going to be the one and only KeeN, who is looking to, well, maybe cause a bit of an upset. If KeeN was the player to end up in the grand final from the winner bracket today, well, that's just crazy, because we've had Classic and Dark and so many players you'd probably expect to see in that grand final from the winner bracket. But, well, KeeN, maybe not one of those guys you'd expect quite so much. Command Center coming down here from KeeN here in the early stages, just starting to build on up. So Command Center starting to build, and just going to be seeing a spawning pool is on the way from Solar as well. So spawning pool on the way from him as the second Rax comes down, and we are going to start heading in towards that 2-1-1 setup. So for the first time in the TVC today, we're going to be seeing this build order. It feels as though it's been a long time coming. It's the most popular build order still to... Well, I feel as though it's still the most popular build order. It's still used very frequently. It's used more often than any other one at least, so I guess it is the most popular. Although maybe not today, but it's going to come out into play now here on Galactic Process, as KeeN will be looking to keep things fresh, keep things different, going into the third game now against Solar. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's one of those setups from KeeN where he's going to be, well, just trying to kind of set himself up nicely. I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's one of those builds that's very standard, and still know how to deal with it. And KeeN just doing this says, I just want to get into a normal game with you. You know, I just want to be able to get into a game where you're not able to drone up drastically. I'm not going to necessarily attack you too early on. You know, I'm just going to be harassing you here, poking you there. He's going to attack, yes, but it's not going to be like, all in, let's go with everything. It's like 2 medevacs units, poking, prodding, harassing, cleaning up group spread. Generally, Solar will kind of put himself in a position where he's going to basically force it so that KeeN doesn't want to take a fight. Because if he does take a fight, then he'll be in a lot of trouble due to the fact that Solar will just have too much. So that's the kind of the idea. But if Solar has too much, then of course, Solar hasn't made any drones. So that's sort of the plan right now with this opening of KeeN. We'll see how it develops. For now, we're just following this route around because it's probably the most interesting thing happening on the map at the moment. And we've seen this hatchery coming up over on the third base. So hatchery coming up over on the third base, and there's Overlord from Solar just continuing to move around and looking to see what's up and looking to see what's happening. Marines gathering together from KeeN, and a couple more about to pop out as well. And the factory just starting up a reactor, and the starport is going to be finishing up very soon as well. So starport will move on to that reactor, and a couple medevacs will start to pop out here as well also. And the engineering bay is just going to be, well, just about halfway done. SCV pops down a depot. So depot does drop down, and Again, just see this Reaper from KeeN continuing to move around, continuing to see what's up. Popping down to the low ground and just moving across the map here in towards the center, and again seeing what's happening. So Reaper just going to be continuing to move around, and we do see the stim pack has started. It's about 75% of the way done. A couple of medevacs continue to pop out as well. That coming up to being about halfway done now. +1/+1 melee upgrades from Solar, and we just continue to set up into this. What's over here? What's that? Oh. For a moment I thought the drones were attacking the hatches. Like, that's weird. No, the sound is the Queens attacking the rocks. That really perplexed me for a moment or two there. Oh dear. KeeN, he's actually going to go very aggressive follow-up again. Single engineering bay, tack lab on the factory, so tanks to follow, and combat shields as well. He's going to go into very aggressive tank push to follow this, but the question is, does he go into then free bases after that, or does he just add on the free racks to go into the 2 base all-in continued after the tank base push, which will follow up the first 2 medevacs, which will start moving out right now. Actually, KeeN very patient with these. Not going to just boost across the map with them, actually just going to play very slowly. Even maybe walking across the map. All day 1904 in the chat asking for the 2-1-1. When do they usually add the 3rd CC? Well, around about now, when KeeN adds these free racks, now you'd add the 3rd CC, so you could add on the 3rd CC now, generally after double engineering base. This is actually like a very aggressive 2 base variant, where he won't start a 3rd CC until much later. But generally, you'd go double engineering bay, and then when these, so instead of 1 engineering bay 2, and then instead of adding these free barracks now, you would add on the 3rd CC instead. So that's generally how you go about a 3rd command center playstyle with this. You could still delay it a bit more and go for the tank base follow-up and then the free CC. There's a lot of different ways. Generally the tank base follow-up means that you have to go for 1 engineering bay instead of 2 though, because you just don't have the gas to go double upgrades and for the siege tanks as well. So that's sort of the differences. There's a lot of different ways to do this build. There's so many. It's a very standard build for the first 4.5 to 5 minutes. And then you see a lot of different ways to follow it up with the 1 engineering bay or 2, the 3 CC, or the 2 base pressure, or the 2 base all-in. You know, there's so many ways you can do it. You can do, again, 2 base pressure into a 3rd command center, or you can transition that into just continuing to add racks and just never, ever expanding. Lots of different possibilities is just what I'm trying to point out here. So we're going to see these Lings will come in, and, well, actually, the Marines get into a very good position there. The Lings can't fight that. No way can they run into that choke point. I mean, they could, but they'd just take way too much damage for what it's worth, so not a worthwhile investment if you wanted to attack there. And we're going to be seeing reinforcements from KeeN all gathering together now, and he will start to push across the map to try and get some damage done here. He's going to be down a carapace upgrade. As you can see, a little bit of Ling Bane moving forwards already. Queen's in position as well. They're going to be very important for sniping down these medevacs. The less the medevacs can stick around and heal, the easier it is for the Zerg to fight against it. The 2 tanks will probably try and come in maybe over here or so, somewhere that's a little bit more awkward for the Zerg to run into. Force the Zerg to take up the more shots as he kind of loops around the side. Over here works as well though. I mean, this is a very solid position as well. It's just a drop of 3 medevacs coming over to this side, and the tanks to back it up. More Marines on the low ground too. And actually, these Marines are already going to be under attack over there though. Try and pull back to help get help from the tanks. Those Marines over there still on move command, not going the best for him. So Solo cleans up over on this side. And, well, the tanks are doing damage, but is it enough? I'm not really too sure. These Marines, man, if they went on move command, there'd be so much more here for KeeN, and that could actually be so important for him. We're going to see some Marines in the center of the map going to be finding some Banelings, continue to sort of trade, and, well, now we've seen KeeN actually hop back over from this little side back over here and unload again. To be fair, Solo's trading well, but it's not, you know, it's not over yet. KeeN's doing a good job of continued pressure and keeping enough up. Nice target firing of the Banelings from the tanks. The more of those he gets rid of before they connect on Marines, the better, of course. However, Solo crashing on in. Seems to just have so much on the ground here. Nice little lift up from KeeN, realizing he has to take a moment to stabilize. This tank can have to lift up as well. It takes the Baneling down before he goes off. A couple more Banes crashing into just 1 Marine over there. The tank's still firing. They will start to fall here, though, if he's not careful. A few more Zerglings going down once again. +1 armor going to be finishing very soon, too. And Marines stepping forwards also once more. Just going to see another KeeN dropping. Another few creep tumors being picked away at as well. Going to be seeing that mule dropping down, and we'll just start to repair up the siege tanks. The tank getting repaired here is just going to be seeing these Marines stimming up and stimming forwards, looking to see what they might be able to do. Another few Banelings starting to morph on in here. Infestation Pit just finishes up. +2 melee upgrades continue to roll on in as well. From our Zerg player, more Lings coming into play, and there's those Marines just stimming up and seeing what's happening, seeing what they can get up to. Tank is firing away from a distance as well. More and more units just coming across the map. I mean, KeeN's starting to do it. He's starting to get the momentum he needs to really be in a very good position with this sort of attack. And, well, here he goes. Solar for fusions from the top side to come in from a little bit of a flank. Tank loading up already. KeeN, the issue for him is that he's not really firing. He's kind of spending so much time running backwards. He never really seems to be attacking, although he does get away from the Banelings and then can turn the fight onto Solar. So he turns around to begin engaging. But now he's lost his tank, so he doesn't have that backbone of the army anymore. And as he evens up the upgrades, well, it's not going to be for too long at all, because 2-2 from Solar is not far away either, and Leifeng coming into play now. Well, actually, that might be useful, because even just the few little kind of 1 or 2 Banes he might pick up on the way in, you never know how much of a difference that makes. The Queen's here, transfusing to stay alive, slowly just working his way through those. And we're going to see a second Liberator now coming in. The first Liberator being targeted very quickly. And as we see KeeN splitting away, these Banelings starting to crash on through, and well, they do some good damage. Liberators both getting taken down here. The Queen's not messing around at all in that regard. As the up tank will get rid of a good chunk more Banelings, and that's the trades which really all continue to keep KeeN in this at this point. You'll see now actually a couple of Queens going down. Solar doesn't hit all of his transfuses as he has been doing before, and now actually KeeN going to fight up on the high ground here. Is this an overextension, or is it going to work out for him? A few Marines firing on the hatchery in the back, and well, KeeN just doesn't have enough to keep pushing forwards with. Solar does hold, especially with the 2-2 upgrades. Makes that final trade there just so much more effective, so much more efficient.